are back on the Morning Brew with friends, and we got Bill Nevins and my friend Hakim Bellamy. And Hakim and I were just catching up because we worked on a project together a while back, the 505 Faces project. It was excellent, right?
It was fun.
And the books should be out. We haven't heard much, but they should be available now and shipping now, which is pretty great. And then beyond that, you've been super busy.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing.
Right. Well, you just did the We Are This City. That was huge, and the manifesto you wrote was really great fun, and that seems to be really taking off.
Doing really well. Shout out to Max Baptiste, Philip Torres, who we know around these parts.
Of course, Phil's one of our friends around this place.
We've just been able to really grow that. Like the manifesto was kind of like at the outset, and then just a couple weeks ago, or maybe 8 weeks ago, during the shopping stroll up in Nob Hill, they had a fantastic art exhibit from the balloon blast that they did, which my 8-year-old son participated in. A little kid threw a balloon full of paint at a piece of wood, and 40 different art pieces came out of those kind of balloon splattered paint.
And they're great. Max is selling those. It's a very cool local project. And then, if that's not enough on your plate, you joined up with Bill.
Yeah.
And you guys are now working on a new poetry project, a new writing project. What's the best way to talk about it, Bill?
I would say the best way to describe it is it's the artists, the poets, and the musicians, and the video artists responding to the troubles and losses that we've had in our community.
And across
in the
world too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we all know we've reached a point where we're starting to get a little stressed out, and maybe a bit of music and poetry will help us focus a bit.
Yeah.
So Hakim and the other great poets of the community and some of the musicians are coming forward to do a free show at the South Broadway Cultural Center on the 17th of December, which is a Thursday night.
Week from today.
Week from today at 7 p.m. and everybody's invited, all ages, and it's a free event. The city of Albuquerque and Film ABQ and South Broadway Cultural Center have helped us to put this on.
So how does that conversation go? You talk to a guy like Hakim, and you're like, Hakim, there's all this horrible stuff going on. Can you write about it? I mean, how does that conversation actually go down?
Well, I think that, poets, writers, musicians are always creating, and as mediums, as antenna, as sensitive and sentient beings, usually it's in response to the things that are happening in the world around you. It's not always just for a deadline or for a project date. And so the idea is that, as artists, I don't think that we necessarily, at least I won't say that me as an artist, I can't always offer solutions, but I can offer healing. And my own process for dealing with certain things is my writing. And so if there's an opportunity for us to get together and share the things that we're processing together, maybe it's useful and helpful to the larger, broader community.
Have you heard some of the other poets' work yet?
No, but the people that have kind of answered the call to kind of be part of this, I think always are addressing social issues.
Yeah. So. Is that what you went for? When you were looking for artists to be a part of this, did you find people who were socially conscious about what they were doing?
Yes. We put out a call to specific people who we knew, and we put out a general call, and some folks came forward that we didn't necessarily know and volunteered, and we're looking forward. They're coming from various parts of the community, many different ages and sections of the community. I sponsor a monthly poetry reading, and I attend other ones, including ones that Hakim goes to. And we've been hearing people speaking poetry, responding to the current situation, the crisis, you might call it.
Is it something that poets can't not write about? If that makes sense.
I think it would be hard not to.
They find a way to. I'm not one of those poets. So, but yeah, it's hard for me to not. For all of us to not be impacted by the ecosystem that we swim in, and again, art. I think sometimes we, as artists, we sometimes demand or expect a lot from art and artists, and I think that if the solutions aren't to be found with us, definitely the sense of community is to be found with us, and the answers and the solutions are in the community. And so if we can create more spaces for the people who are feeling it to intersect and connect with the people who can solve it, then perhaps we could come to some reasonable plan of action or course of action.
When you started setting this out and decided to do this, Did you kind of have something in mind about what the poets were going to be talking about, or did you say, hey guys, there's this problem and that problem, there's 100 problems, can you please talk about all of them?
No, no one can talk about all of them. And
We only have
basically,
2 hours.
Right,
yeah, we let them,
months and months, yes.
we let them know. We all know there's a situation developing. The thing that struck me the most was the death of a little girl on our highways to gunfire, and the death of a hero policeman that same week.
That was a tough week.
That was an awful week, yes. And I was actually on the highway when the poor little girl was killed. Didn't see it. I'm very grateful I didn't see that happen. But I was there. I returned from out of state, and I was coming back from the airport. And I was struggling myself with how to deal with this, and found myself writing, like madly writing all kinds of things. And I asked my friends and other poets and Hakim, and everyone said, you know, we really need to respond.
As an art community as well as
a community, yeah. I mean, it's not like everyone doesn't have something to say, but maybe some of the poets have kind of practiced. They practice their words, and the musicians have practiced their music, of course. So we're calling it the program Resolana Luz, Light from Darkness. And besides offering a bit of hope in what's a bleak situation in the world and in our community, it also fits with the solstice time and the Christmas and Hanukkah time that we're passing through.
The holiday time is it's a time for family, it's a time for gatherings, it's a time for getting together, and not necessarily a time for sadness, but it's a time to recognize that there are difficulties, right? Yeah.
And that's where the kind of second title there, Light from Darkness, and the solstice. So even when things are darkest, you know, it has to go in the other way. The pendulum will go in the other direction.
Right.
For all my yin and yang Eastern philosophers out there.
Right.
And so like the days are going to get longer.
Right.
Like at the darkest part of the night, the days are going to get longer.
We're 2 weeks away.
Right. You know.
Yeah.
And I think I would throw in, you know, a line of Rumi, since we're talking about poetry, and one of Rumi's famous lines is the wound is the place where the light enters you. And so as we're trying to like heal and recover from all of these tragedies and tragedies globally, it's okay to hurt, it's okay to bleed, because when you do that, you're letting the light in. And at Resolana Luz, we want to let the community inside each and every one of us.
It's going to be great. Do you have a couple minutes to read some poetry for us?
Yeah, after commercial break, so I can think about it, Dan.
That sounds good. That sounds like a plan. It says here, performance reading of poetry. So I was like, oh, great, we get to hear some. No,
maybe,
we'll give you some time.
Bill.
We won't put you on the spot right now.
You have to come on the 17th if you actually want to see.
Right, it's going to be great. And Hakim, for those that don't know, is the city's well, you were the first poet laureate of Albuquerque, and that's still kind of this awesome thing. It hasn't died, has it?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Dan, because you know, laurels and salutations to our current city poet laureate, Jessica Helen Lopez.
She's crushing it too.
Crushing it, killing it. But we have opened up solicitations for the committee, the committee that selects the poet laureate, that has been kind of given the power to make that decision. It's kind of an anonymous committee until they make the decision, but we're looking for a couple of people, so people can go to Albuquerque, abqpoetlaureate.org, and if you think that you're a person who wants to help select the next poet laureate, we're looking for certain individuals that fit certain criteria for the selection committee, and then the actual application period for nominations, nominate somebody you know or nominate yourself, will be open soon, and we'll choose that in like February.
You have to be published.
Poet Laureate 3.
You have to be published. You have to be.
You have to have lived here 5 years.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
I love that. Bill, let's you and me during the commercial break brainstorm some people that we can nominate for that.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. And we're back in a couple of seconds on the Morning Brew. We got a packed house today. We got Jill Beats coming in. She's going to tell us about some of the opportunities to volunteer at the storehouse this winter.
How I'll hate going out in the storm, but if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm, and the fire is slowly dying.